Why is the United States suddenly preparing for war in the Southern Caribbean? To understand what's unfolding, we need to look at something that hasn't been touched in decades. Cold War-era military infrastructure, now coming back to life. At the center of this shift is Roosevelt Roads Naval Station in Puerto Rico. Once the largest U.S. naval base in the world, it was officially shut down in 2004. But new reports suggest it's being rapidly reactivated. What was once a civilian zone is now transforming back into a forward operating military base. And that's not the only change. Henry E. Rolson Airport in the U.S. Virgin Islands, long known as a tourist gateway, is no longer just for vacations. It's being converted into a logistics hub capable of handling heavy military transport aircraft. So why now? Two major triggers are driving this escalation. First, Russia and China. U.S. intelligence indicates that Moscow and Beijing are not merely visiting Venezuela. They are attempting to establish permanent military bases. From Washington's perspective, this represents a direct violation of the Monroe Doctrine, an existential threat the U.S. cannot afford to ignore. Second, of course, the oil, and the signs are already there. U.S. Coast Guard helicopters have been spotted intercepting and seizing oil tankers leaving Venezuelan waters. This isn't random enforcement. It's a calculated move to cut off the regime's cash flow before open conflict begins. If an attack is launched, which naval assets are already in position? Near Puerto Rico, the U.S. Navy has assembled a carefully designed kill chain. The USS Jason Dunham, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, isn't just a missile platform. It's an electronic warfare powerhouse. Its role is to jam Venezuelan communications and blind coastal radar systems, creating confusion in the opening moments of an attack. Then there's the USS Stockdale. This ship acts as the shield. Equipped with the advanced Aegis missile defense system, its mission is to intercept and destroy any anti-ship missiles fired back at the fleet. But this isn't just about containment. The presence of the USS Iwo Jima, a massive amphibious assault ship, changes everything. You don't deploy a vessel like this unless you plan to put boots on the ground. It's designed to launch waves of Marines directly onto hostile shores, and the pressure doesn't come from one direction. To the south, the U.S. is using Trinidad and Tobago to seal off Venezuela's back door. In the Gulf of Paria, the USS gravely acts as a hunter, ensuring no submarines or fast attack boats escape into the Atlantic. Overseeing it all is the USS Lake Erie, a Ticonderoga-class cruiser. This ship functions as the air defense commander, coordinating every aircraft and vessel from its advanced command center. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, make sure to like the video and subscribe. These are the kinds of military developments mainstream media rarely explains in detail. But ships alone can't deliver the opening blow. That's where air power comes in. B-52 Stratofortress bombers won't even land in the Caribbean. They'll launch directly from the continental United States, fire massive volleys of cruise missiles, and return home without ever touching foreign soil. The B-1 Lancer, on the other hand, is built for speed. These bombers can fly low and fast, striking hardened targets before defenses even register the threat. So where will tactical aircraft operate from? This is why Roosevelt Roads in Ceiba, Puerto Rico is so critical. It places U.S. aircraft just minutes from Venezuelan airspace. MQ-9 Reaper drones will loiter for hours, tracking mobile missile launchers and eliminating them the moment they move. F-35s will act as the door kickers, penetrating Venezuelan airspace undetected to destroy S-300 air defense systems, clearing the skies for follow-on strikes. Supporting them are V-22 Ospreys, launching from both Puerto Rico and the USS Iwo Jima to insert special forces deep behind enemy lines. All of this requires fuel. KC-130 tankers will orbit near the combat zone, allowing jets to remain in the fight for extended periods. And logistics? That's where C-17 cargo aircraft come in, flying non-stop into Roosevelt Roads and Henry E. Rolson Airport, delivering troops, ammunition, and armored equipment to sustain operations. So, is this war inevitable? When bombers are on standby, amphibious ships are in position, and Cold War bases are being reactivated, it begins to look like the decision has already been made. Next comes the confrontation. U.S. destroyers, submarines, amphibious ships, Marines, and P-8 Poseidon aircraft form a multi-layered strategy designed to confront both the Venezuelan military and powerful drug cartels. Destroyers provide air, sea, and missile defense while retaining the ability to launch precision cruise missiles deep into Venezuelan territory. Each destroyer carries around 90 missiles, a Mark 45 deck gun, close-in weapon systems, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, torpedo tubes, and a Seahawk helicopter for anti-submarine warfare. But destroyers don't invade countries. That's the job of amphibious assault ships, floating launch platforms that deploy Marines, helicopters, VTOL aircraft like the F-35B, and landing craft. Thousands of Marines trained for rapid assaults would strike cartel hubs, command centers, and key infrastructure, potentially coordinating with opposition forces inside Venezuela. Below the surface, nuclear-powered attack submarines operate silently. They intercept communications, monitor naval activity, launch surprise missile strikes, and deter reinforcements from countries like Russia or Iran. Above, P-8 Poseidon aircraft conduct constant surveillance, tracking air defenses, troop movements, smuggling routes, and submarine activity, while also conducting electronic warfare to disrupt Venezuelan command networks. And why is even a single submarine so dangerous? The answer is because of its torpedoes. These weapons accelerate to 32 knots, travel up to 12 kilometers, and carry the explosive power of 1,200 pounds of TNT. Guided by wires and onboard sonar, they can even circle back to hunt missed targets. New supercavitating torpedoes may make them even deadlier. So how does Venezuela respond? Despite being smaller and less advanced, Venezuela relies on geography, layered air defenses, and massive militia mobilization. Reportedly over 4.5 million fighters. Coastal patrols, missile systems, fast boats, and cartel networks complicate U.S. operations through asymmetric warfare. Dense jungles, civilian traffic, and smuggling routes provide cover, turning the conflict into a hybrid battlefield. Finally, here comes the Russia. Moscow is expected to supply long-range drones such as Shahed-type systems, enabling Venezuela to strike airfields, logistics hubs, and command centers in asymmetric retaliation. This confrontation reflects two opposing strategies. The U.S. applying overwhelming surveillance and firepower to dismantle networks and pressure regime change, while Venezuela counters with numbers, terrain, militias, and irregular warfare. So here's the real question, and it's bigger than Venezuela. If the United States is willing to reactivate Cold War bases, reposition amphibious assault ships, deploy strategic bombers, and prepare for boots on the ground in the Caribbean, then ask yourself this: is this about stopping Venezuela? Or is it about sending a message to Russia and China that the Western Hemisphere is still a red line? Because history tells us something important. Major wars don't usually start with invasions. They start with infrastructure reactivation, logistics buildup, and quiet force positioning. Exactly what we're seeing now. So consider this. If Russia establishes a permanent military presence in Venezuela, does the US respond militarily? Or does it accept a new global reality where great power competition exists on its doorstep? And if Washington doesn't act, what signal does that send to Taiwan, Ukraine, or the South China Sea? But on the other hand, if the US does strike, does it risk opening a wider conflict, one that pulls in global powers through proxies, cyber warfare, and asymmetric retaliation? So here's the question for you. Are we witnessing deterrence in action, or the early stages of a conflict that hasn't officially been named yet? Let me know what you think in the comments, because how this plays out could redefine global power for decades to come. If you want deeper breakdowns of modern warfare, military strategy, and global power shifts, subscribe now. Our next video dives even deeper into sea, air, and land dominance, and you won't want to miss it.